Shirley.
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We are starting the March 25th Cape May Beach Safety Committee meeting, and we're just going to go quickly through roll call. Steve Steger.
Here.
Thank you. Christine DiDonato here. Lorraine Baldwin.
Here?
Harry Back.
Here.
Thank you. Okay. Michael Eck. Thank you. Tom Medvecki has given us an update, but he is not able to make it this evening, nor is Eric or Roy Sundstrom. Katie Rafter. Here. And William Kurtz. Here. Thank you. And then we have participating this evening is George Sawyer, Mark de Blasio, Paul Dietrich, and I apologize.
Junetta Dix, Act Engineers.
Thank you. Okay. Steve, you want to get started?
Okay, yeah, sure. I guess we'll start with your presentation for, or an update on what the studies found or what the demonstration project was going to be.
Okay. Well, first, I just would say thank you. They're still gathering information right now. The main reason why I wanted to have Janetta here, and unfortunately, Wendy is the other part of the co-team with Taylor Engineering. What conference? I forget. Just turn on the mic. I'm sorry.
She's actually gone a day early. I'm going tomorrow to Washington, D.C., to the American Society of Beach and Shore Preservation. It's a national, did I get that right? ASBPA. It's a national conference. We actually get to visit Cory Booker's office on Wednesday and speak to him about flood resiliency, or his staff, flood resiliency and shoreline restoration and beach nourishment and all those issues that are critical to South Jersey, and to which there's funding coming down the pike, and seek that legislative support.
So Wendy's down there doing that, so she was not able to be here this evening. So really the main reason why I wanted to be here today was so that you could have the opportunity to speak directly with the consultant on some of the issues. We've been back and forth with the Army Corps of Engineers, the DEP Bureau of Coastal Engineering, in gathering the data.
Pulling teeth.
I'm sorry, I have to keep remembering, so with the audio, everybody complains that it's the audio system that is bad, and it's not the audio system, it's all user error. So, if you kind of don't hear your voice reverberating in the back of the room, that means there's a chance that the people in the public on the YouTube won't hear your voice also. So, Erin, our clerk, she always reminded us at city council meetings, so I have to be cognizant and remember to get a little closer to the mic so that everybody can hear. Obviously, we don't have any public in here today, but just so that it's clear on that. So, really, today was just so that the consultant team can really hear some input from you guys on what you see the concerns are, and just to hear it from you, as opposed to just having the anecdotal of hearing it from me, from you, from history. So that's part of it. But we've just now started to get, I'll say, some of the data in. So the design team really hasn't had a chance to pull that information out and move it forward. In talking with the Bureau of Coastal Engineering, I guess maybe it was 4 or 5 years ago, they did have this kind of, Army Corps did meet with the city, and they kind of told me some of the things that they came out of it. So I'll share that with the design team as they start to call through the data, and I'll see where the two line up on what they kind of saw, some of our short-term ways that we could improve the beach. But
The committee's aware of the scope of work and the
yes.
task? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, we shared them your entire proposal as part of this process, right after the
So
award.
Paul, I missed the last couple of meetings, so could you just download us on what the demonstration project is?
Well, it's not going to be a demonstration project per se, and maybe I'll let Janetta describe it. It's going to be more looking at all the data and then coming up with alternatives that we could look at examining as far as what might be able to do or what would be the best thing to analyze to have a desired outcome. And so that's really why Janetta and Wendy need that input from part of this group is, what is your desired outcome to have on the beach? You know, that's part of the discussion, because that'll help when they start looking at all their, you know, brief analysis of all the data is, okay, what design would I have to try to model to create that desired outcome?
So is that what's meant by, I guess, the first bullet on the agenda?
Demonstrate, beach replenishment demonstration.
Well, I think
That's what it-
that was how
Okay.
you put on there. It's, you know, the study is really to do an analysis, alternatives analysis of what would be the various types of alternatives that would be there. I mean, I would, and if anybody did not get a copy, or not copy, but an email of the proposal, I can definitely resend that out to everybody, but I believe it was distributed for the committee so that they had the Act and Taylor's proposal.
There's a little bit of permit history out there, not a whole lot of permit history. There seems to be, we've struggled with shaking it loose from the Army Corps of Engineers and from DEP. And then Stockton University has done at least 3 beach profiles that we're aware of historically. So we're shaking loose the historical data where Wendy, so it's Taylor Engineering, who really has the coastal engineering experience, and ACT Engineers, who has survey and environmental permitting experience. And so we're shaking loose that data, compiling it into, you know, a database where we can at least attempt to see trends and the beach profiles, and then we'll present that information in draft form, and then we'll seek to get some more input from, you know, from the city, and then the final deliverable is a report that will summarize and propose, hopefully, some alternatives or some suggestions or recommendations on what, if anything, can be done, and we're hopeful, but, you know, what, if anything, can be done to improve that beach profile. Our understanding is it's dangerous, that it's a pretty sharp drop-off, unlike other, you know, profiles up and down the Jersey Shore, and that maybe there's something that can be done about that. And I'm not sure what that is yet, but that's where we are in that process of that stage, task 1 of the data collection and analyses. We're a little bit behind schedule, I'll be very honest with you. We're a little bit behind schedule because we hit these walls with the regulatory agencies, and I don't know that they're reluctant
No.
to release the data. They
I think-
just wanted,
I think what they came down to was they didn't want to release the data to the consultant. They wanted to release the data to the city, and then the city could share the data to the consultant. So they were wrangling between
a little bit of red tape.
red tape.
What do you anticipate the time with the pushback, and just asking not to?
Yeah, so the original proposal said that we would complete task 1, I believe, within 4 months. I think that's right. We're probably a month and a half behind. I mean, obviously, we're going to do everything we can to make up that schedule. But I would think that, you know, I don't know what the original due date was. The draft report was due 5 months from notice to proceed.
Which was just before, like, was it December or January? It was pretty much,
Yeah, maybe like right around the beginning of the year. So I guess the original schedule was we would have a draft report in May. We're probably more looking, and Wendy's not texting me yet, you know, with the exclamation marks, but I would say we're probably looking more like July, maybe.
Okay,
you know,
thank
a
you.
couple months, June or July.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, we'll do the best we can.
So, again, something that you said kind of prompted something with what I've heard in the past. the data that you have from Stockton, you said it only goes back 3 years, but that's the
No, 3 locations,
3 locations, okay?
three,
They
three
were-
profiles.
Gotcha,
Yep.
3 profiles, okay.
Yeah, they
Okay,
have,
'cause
they
they're-
have, they have years.
They have years of
Years
data.
of
There's
data.
a little bit of
but-
lapse.
But they only surveyed like 3 street locations.
Right.
On the beach.
Okay, okay, I'm just making sure that you have, okay, the years of data, not just, I thought it was three.
No, there's years and years of data, and what's really nice is that Brad Smith is our Director of GIS and Geospatial, and Brad used to work for Stockton, and so when you talk about a beach profile, he's like, oh, is that such and such street? And so it's weird, it's a little strange, but he remembers them, so it is, it's a little, it's, it's like if you're a golfer, you remember every hole, I'm an NCAA
Because-
fan, I remember every game last night.
Because he was the guy bobbing out in the
Yes,
water
he
with the
was guy
survey
in the water.
stick,
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah, that's.
a
what you said when we
1,000
were
yards out.
yeah.
Interviewing.
Jeanette, are you saying engineers are weird?
He's
I
not.
would agree with that.
He's not an engineer. He's not actually an engineer. He's a GIS guy. Like, he's a techie guy. They're weird. They're definitely weird.
I just have maybe a silly question, but not silly to me. Do the East Coast Army Corps talk to the West Coast Army Corps?
It's a great question.
Because I've seen the result on the West Coast, same situation. Costly, but it works. And I told these guys when we were out in Oceanside, and they had the same problem,
Right.
where they had to change the shape of the jetties and how they function to keep the sand where the sand belongs and not take it away and move it someplace else. Now, the only difference I could see, a beach is a beach. They have much, well, I know what you're saying. Well, I'm saying.
Well, no, because a beach isn't a beach, because you have so many things of what's the relationship of the shoreline to the angle of the waves, to the prevailing wind, to the grain size of the sand, to the depth from the high tide line to the natural low tide
Earth.
and the low tide. So to say that
I
every
stand
beach,
corrected.
every beach is the same,
Trust me.
there are a lot, but the engineers look at all of those
But I
data.
understand it, but my situation, the only thing, and I was doing comparison, was California, West Coast, much larger waves, much harder on the sand base. I don't know about the direction, whatever, I'm not an engineer. But I have seen the positive results. The only difference that I can see was that when you go out, like our jetty, when you go out the inlet, it's 25 feet, 30 feet, for an eighth of a mile. On the West Coast, when you go out eighth of a mile, it goes to 300 feet. That's the only major difference I can see. Hence my question, does the East Coast talk to the West Coast? Maybe the West Coast could give them some insight on how to resolve this problem, because it is one federal
Agency.
agency, I would
Yeah.
think.
It is.
I mean, I'm just, it's going to be expensive, I can tell you that. I mean, I understand that because I saw what they've done out there. But, I mean, when you have something sitting right in front of you, even though it's 3,000 miles away, it's the same situation. That was my.
So the Army Corps of Engineers is divided up into districts. We are within, South Jersey and Delaware are in the Philadelphia district. So we are under review, and they have their own engineering division. North Jersey and New York is under the New York district.
Okay.
So it's divided up into districts. We are finding on other projects, like dredge material on the marsh plain, on shoreline resiliency projects, my personal experience is the Philadelphia district is a little behind the curve. I got to tell you, things that they're doing in Louisiana and Mississippi, and other coastal towns and this is really more wetland restoration than it is, beach nourishment or beach replenishment. But it's a different. They should be talking. They're working on developing standardized, templates and for those type of things. Whether they're doing that for beach replenishment or not, I'm not sure. But we could certainly look at that. We could certainly do a little bit of a literature review. We could scratch the surface on a literature review and see, what they're doing on other shorelines. But you're right, it's a different, it's why the offshore wind love it here, is because it's so shallow, 3 miles, 15 miles off, it's got that shallow, base, and that's why you see offshore wind here, and you don't really see it off the coast of California as much, but we'll take a look at it, it's a
Yeah, I
great
mean,
suggestion,
it's-
yep.
Thank you.
Well, more so with what Yogi's referring, I think where I would look at it is, we can't exist in a vacuum. So whatever Wildwood is doing, or Stone Harbor, or anywhere north is going to affect us, or I don't even know it's south, but do we look at that in terms of a system of New Jersey beaches?
We're not currently looking at that under this scope, but you're right, like, we hate to look at anything in a microscope in one little snapshot, like when I dredge my boat slip, if the guy next door doesn't dredge, then, his sediment just, comes into mine. So it's kind of a bigger picture. Can I say I'm not sure, but I've written it down. And we'll, can I say that? I mean,
It's a question that that's.
it's a valid point, like if we're doing something really proactive and Wildwood's not, does that adversely impact us? And I don't know the answer to that. Not yet.
Okay.
Anybody got any other questions?
So your concerns are the beach profile, the safety, the injuries? Is
Yeah,
that
that's-
right?
That's basically the focus of this group, is to look at that. But, obviously, with sound engineering practices in mind that are going to affect, beach replenishment, obviously that's necessary,
Right.
because if you don't have beach replenishment, you're going to have major flooding in other areas of the town.
Do you guys keep, Anna, do you keep records on, rescues and injuries and things like
Yes.
that? Do you know which beach is worse than others?
We have an idea.
Yeah.
I mean, Harry could probably comment more on that, but it's pretty much everywhere. I'm just being down there, yeah, certain beaches are more prone to injury than others.
Sure.
But it's all over the place, really.
Okay.
And the data is capped. Harry, are you there?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to talk a little bit about the data and maybe forward that information to ACT?
Yeah, I mean, I've been, I was gone for quite a few years, but I've been collecting data since we started beach replenishment, as detailed as location, wave heights, time of day, high tide, low tide, mid tide. I've kept all that information. I'd be happy to share it or sit down and have a conversation with them. Include the fire department on that, because I know they've collected their data as well. And that could give them a pretty good insight on what we've been dealing with as far as injuries have, the numbers and how they've increased over time initially. And then as they decreased recently due to higher training and more education to not only our lifeguards, but to the public.
I think it would be helpful. I mean, it can't hurt.
Absolutely. You might be able to start seeing trends with beaches and.
Sure. It would be interesting to know how those significant rescue or injuries, how they worked in timing with the beach replenishment. Was it immediately after? Was it right before? I don't know that that tells us a whole lot, but it might. Yeah.
So my understanding, then, you're going to have, because your proposal was broken up into like 2 phases.
Yes.
The first phase, you're anticipating like in July? Or are you?
No, I think the second phase
You
is
think both
is
of them
July.
would be-
I think
okay.
the first phase, now that we've shook loose some of the data.
Okay.
And permits and information, then I would hopeful that we can, compile that,
both of them.
in the next couple of months, and then what, the plan is to have a meeting, and to, present these in a draft report, and then finalize it. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it's to our benefit for this not to drag out any longer than than we need to.
Right.
So we
By
hope
July, you're saying that we'll have
that draft
A
report.
draft report.
like summary recommendations, pretty much?
Wendy, you're listening, does July sound, reasonable to you? She's texting me questions and answers, so,
Yeah.
she hasn't said no, so, I don't see why not. I mean, we're behind, but we're not like crazy behind.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to be as transparent.
Yeah, that's important, yeah,
It's
that's,
the way I roll.
yeah.
Mark will tell you.
I think we'd rather have it done properly and, consistent.
I got a
versus-
yes with an exclamation mark, so,
Yeah.
there you go.
So that,
Good.
I got confirmation from she who's compiling most of the data.
so we'll plan on the next, coming back and have a scheduled meeting in July.
Good, yeah.
And at that point, we could do a better presentation. We'll have real information, real data to present, maybe some graphs and things. Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you.
of course.
Does anybody have any other questions or comments? I don't really have anything, but thanks for
Thank you.
coming down and explaining everything to us. We're pretty excited that we're going to have something by July, which would be kind of cool, which outlines everything that we've been kind of trying to work for over the past couple of years. So that's great. Glad to hear it. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Great.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is done. Thank you.
Okay, so next, we have beach safety, educating the public. Tom had a last-minute thing at work, so he did give an update. He was saying that the USLA changed their grant overview and requirements, which puts a snag on us submitting for a grant. And we can only submit one a year, and I believe we've already done that for this year. So he's
Okay.
going to resubmit in the fall when he has more comprehensive, he can do it more comprehensively. We have a better opportunity to get the grant. And they're just looking for materials that can be reused, shared among beach patrols, and will have the highest impact. So we will get an update on with him next, when he is back, but that's where we are with beach safety and educating the public. We are still working on Tom and two of his colleagues getting out into the schools for the spring to educate again.
Okay.
Any questions or thoughts?
No, I don't have any other comment on that. I'm going to move on to, I guess, any kind of open house updates of any kind?
Do you want me to?
Yes.
Okay. So when we left here at our last meeting, we were talking about having the open house on June the 23rd.
Uh-huh.
I then, remember I told you I was going to text Casey, make sure that
Yep.
there's nothing going on while the DeSatnick Foundation is doing the paddle around the Cape. So,
Oh, okay.
so we're going to get rid of that date. It looks like it's going to be the following week, so it'll be on the 30th.
30th of June?
Of June.
Okay.
Okay. The only thing that's going on that same day is Harborfest rain date. But it's only really an hour overlap. It's Harborfest.
Yeah, I mean, this is only a few hour of
Yeah.
an event. It's not like
Right,
Harbor Fest.
right, exactly.
So, okay.
So, I think we're safe on the 30th if everyone's
Well,
okay
we
with
can't
that
do
date.
it, we could, July, that's too
I think it's
busy
too
of a
late.
time. Yeah, it's too late, yeah.
And Harry, you're good on that for the 30th?
Yeah, the 30th works great.
Great, no races or anything.
Yeah.
Perfect, okay. All right. Any thoughts or comments there?
No.
Isn't there a subcommittee for that?
There are some,
Yeah.
yes. So there is a subcommittee for it. We have, Steve, are you leading that?
Yeah, I'm on it, yeah.
Okay. So I think we're going to do what we did. We talked about the signs, Deputy Mayor Baldwin has. We will try to secure coffee and refreshments and things along those lines. I think this year, last year we were able to do the beach demonstration with the beach patrol, and I think that we're going to focus on that a little bit more so. I think now that people are kind of expecting it, we'll definitely have more people there, and this is something that we can put out there,
Yeah.
for the beach patrol, but we also want to make sure that the fire department and the police department are being appreciated and recognized. It's volunteer services. That's what we'd like to recognize across the board.
Okay.
And so what we will ask is for next time that we have, come back with a little bit more of a concrete plan and how we'll execute in the next month or so.
Yeah, we'll be closer to that time. That'd be fine.
Excellent.
So we will set up a subcommittee meeting then? Okay.
Yeah, maybe before the next April's meeting, maybe we'll get together before then and we'll kind of come up with a plan.
Yeah, that's great.
So that's what we'll do.
Does anyone have any comments, questions about the open house? So now we are good for June 30th. And then that brings us to George Sawyer.
Is that Saturday?
Sunday.
Sunday, okay. I thought we changed it.
We changed it.
Yeah,
to the
which is
chamber.
better, yeah.
So George was kind enough to put together a marketing proposal for us. Would you like to review that at all, George?
Sure, yeah. So good to see everybody. So yeah, I put together the proposal. It's pretty much the same thing we did last year. So I kind of divide it into two different activities. Activity one is the social media. So we would start that May 1st. And again, the same strategy as last year, putting out the beach safety tips, education. Anytime the beach is closed due to weather, we'll throw that information out. To get a little detailed, it would include 3 to 5 regular social media posts per week and 3 to 5 story posts per week. So that's kind of the social media component of it. Activity 2 is just keeping the brochures updated. So of course last year, was most of the work in making the brochure. This year would just be any necessary updates that need to be made and just coordinating with Casey and the other partners on distributing the brochures. So, that's pretty much the meat of it. I did include a $50 increase on the social media component of it. And for that is if you guys are still planning to hire the videographer, that $50 increase would cover me coordinating with the videographer. So I'm not sure if that's still in your plans. And if so, that would include me even finding, reaching out to the videographer now and coordinating with that. So, that's up to you guys if you want to move forward with that. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. Do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, I'd say, I remember last meeting we talked about it. I would say definitely move forward with talking to who you want to do the videography. That's something we definitely want to do, to update, because the stuff that we have now is very dated.
Right, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
George, in order to do this, what do you need from us besides the,
Just the go-ahead.
okay.
Just the go-ahead,
You're good.
basically, yeah.
What is the cost, George?
So it's $650 per month from May through September for the social media, and then just a flat fee of $200 just to update the brochures and to coordinate the,
Now, in all your social media, can you keep plugging that open house date and everything?
Oh, yeah, that
That'll all
would-
go in there, okay.
that would definitely,
Good.
yeah, and any other events that the Beach Patrol has. I
Okay.
know last year we publicized their, I think it wasn't the Beach Patrol, but the Beach Patrol Association, their swim, so, we threw stuff in like that. And other city events were kind of thrown in there with making sure like a beach safety component. I know we did the Captain Kidd treasure hunt. It was like a hot day, so we're like threw out like, oh, make sure you drink water, stuff like that, so. Anything related to the beach, and then we'll connect it to a beach safety component with that, so.
Do you also work on like National Night, or National, is it called National Night Out?
Oh, yeah.
Is that what you're working on as well?
Yeah, we can definitely include that, yeah.
Well, only because, again, we're going back to what we're trying to show our appreciation to the services. So maybe that's something that we throw in there, because, not throw in there, but we give it balance.
Okay, cool,
Do we,
yeah.
do we even want to have maybe a table for National Night Out?
I think so. Do we know when it is this year?
It's usually first weekend or, yeah,
I think that would be great.
August.
Yeah,
Just a thought as you're mentioning it.
it's a great idea.
Okay.
Okay. Harry, any thoughts there? On National Night Out, possibly having us having a table for what we're doing?
I think it'd be great. I think it's just, we put a table up every year from the Beach Patrol. I think we just put them right together and
Yeah.
Okay,
kind of, yeah.
all right. So we'll
And have
work on that,
brochures
find
and-
out what the date is.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yep. So basically what I'll do is if I have the go-ahead, we'll start May 1st, just, with that social media strategy, and then that'll continue through September 30th. And then, right away, so probably tomorrow or next week, I'll reach out to the videographer, get his information, I'll pass that
Yeah.
on to you, and we'll coordinate that going forward.
Definitely.
And then I'll be working with Casey on how many, working with how many brochures she has left, the beach taggers, I'm sure they still have some left from last year, and we'll see if the city needs to order any more as well, so.
Okay. Thank you very much.
That's good.
Any questions for George?
Do we need to vote on that tonight? Do we vote on that? Do we, as
Coming out of the,
For the,
approval?
uh,
no, Harry, that's in your budget, right?
Yes.
Okay.
yeah, it comes out of the beach patrol budget.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, George.
Anything else anyone like to comment or add to that?
No, I don't, I don't have anything on my end, unless anybody else has anything.
Lorraine, I'll just make a quick comment if I could on that.
Yeah,
I'll just say my appreciation to what George did last year with anytime we needed emergency posts made. It was flawless, and it helped tremendously between myself, the fire department, the police department, getting the word out on closed beaches or dangerous conditions. I think that in itself is worth every penny that we pay George.
It was very effective.
yeah, that's wonderful.
How many thunderstorms come through in the summer until you're posting every time there's lightning on the beach, so.
How many followers are on the page now?
What was that?
How many followers are on the page now?
I believe I'll have to look it up. I don't know off the top of my head, but I do remember the reach that we got, both Facebook and Instagram got last year was about 51,000 different individual, either Facebook or Instagram accounts it
Okay.
reached. That's pretty healthy. Of course, Casey's always helping out, sharing it to the city's page, which has a lot of followers as well.
Uh-huh, okay. Okay.
Thank you.
I guess, if nobody has anything else, we'll make a motion to adjourn.
Yeah, when's our next meeting gonna be?
Oh, that's, yes, before.
Right.
Oh,
so-
yeah, sorry.
Okay, so we're meeting on Mondays. Again, we're looking at dates. Next meeting would be, there's 5 Mondays in April, so April 22nd? Is that reasonable?
Yeah.
Do you think we need to meet in April, or, because our crunch is gonna be after this report is finished, as well as the open house. Unless there's anything that we need for education, because, Harry, you're going into the schools for the education component, right?
Correct.
Do we need to do anything in reference to that, in preparation?
I think that's something that we can do on the side with Tom and myself as far as setting up the guards that he's taken in there and scheduling the dates and times.
Okay, so maybe
up to
we
you.
provide a update for April. The only thing is for May, the 4th Monday of May is Memorial Day weekend, I believe.
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
So I could try to do the 20th. Would that
20th
be better?
20th would be
Of
better.
May?
Yeah.
20th of May.
I think I think that's a good
All
idea.
right, so I will check with Aaron.
Eliminate April?
We're going to provide an update for April.
Okay.
And then we'll schedule the next meeting for May 20th, and I will check with Aaron on that to make sure that the space
Yeah.
is free.
Okay.
Probably an HPC meeting, but we would just have to be out of here.
That's fine. Okay.
Yeah, at
Yes,
6.
okay. All right, so I will get on that, and I will get an update out to everybody. And, yes, we should be good there.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I guess I'll make that motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Second?
Great.
I'll second.
Second, sorry.
Thank you.
Or you could do it. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Harry, you're good?
I'm good, yes.
Okay. We will see you down here when you get here.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Here.
See you guys.
Bye.
Thank you.